Hi guys, so today I have another ranking my collection video. I know, I'm so excited. Lauren T actually commented on one of my last videos and said, girl, you need to do bronzer. So I am a woman here for my people. So today I thought I would do bronzers. Now, I know I say this in every video, but some of you guys may be coming in who are new. So howdy, how you doing? But I don't get PR. I don't have millions of dollars. So my collection is quite small. And I'm also kind of a creature of habit. When I find something that works, I'm like, this is my thing. I don't need anything else. I don't need a look. I have my perfect product. So it's really hard for me to branch out. I have grown my collection a little bit over the years, but I really have like my tried and true, you know what I'm saying? So I have a couple that I want to talk about. I have one that I actually don't like, which I'll be talking about first, and then I will kind of build up to there to my absolute favorite bronzer. So let's do this. So the bronzer coming in and last place is my Tom Ford bronzing powder in the shade 01 Gold Dust. Now, I bought this because so many people were raving about the Tom Ford bronzers, and I know people really love the matte formula, and I was like, you know what, I gotta just buy this. I gotta see what all the hype's about. So I picked this one up. And I was so into using my Hoola bronzer, which is matte, that I was like, I need to probably get like a shimmery kind of bronzer. So that's why I picked the shade Gold Dust. And this is like the smaller size. It's not a travel size, but it's the smaller size. Because if you guys know the Tom Ford bronzers, like the big ones, they're like this big, like they're huge. And they're so expensive. Even this little small bronzer was $78. I know. It's a pretty decent shade. I find that the shimmer in it is a little bit chunky. It's almost like one of those matte eyeshadows that has like glitter particles in it. It's not really a sheen. It's just like matte with glitter. This is how it looks. It's a tad bit too orangey for me, in my opinion, and I'm not a huge fan of the gold specks in it. However, I could not let an $80 bronzer go to waste, so I do keep it in my kit to use on clients if their skin tone allows this, or I use it as a body bronzer. But I personally don't like this. I would never repurchase it. I don't recommend it. I've never tried the matte bronzers to be like, okay, buy those. To me, the packaging is pretty, but it's cheap, and it's just not good. I don't want to reach for it. I don't like the way it looks. I don't like the shade, and for $78, I'm sorry, but that's just way too much. Especially when there's so many bronzers on the market that are like way better quality than this for like half the price, a third of the price, a fraction of the price. Like, this just is not it. We all know that brands market products to be certain things, like these are eyeshadows, these are lip liners, these are foundations, when really we can use any makeup for anything. You can use a concealer as an eyeshadow primer. You can use an eyeshadow as a brow powder. You can use an eyeshadow as a bronzer. You can use an eyeshadow as a blush. You can use a lipstick as a blush. You can use a blush as a lipstick. You can use anything for anything. There's really no rules. I know we sit here and we go, well, this product is for this and this product is for that, but there really are no lines. You can really use whatever you want. So one of the things that a lot of people use as bronzer is a darker translucent powder. So I have the Revolution Makeup by London. This is their deep dark powder. Now, I bought this for my freelance kit so that I had a deep powder for when I work on people with a deeper skin tone, but you could use this as a bronzer. Now, it's going to probably be a little bit more sheer, a little bit more light, but this color is really, really pretty. I'm trying to swatch it for you, but it's like in a little shaker cap. So this is a little swatch for you. This is such a pretty bronzer shade. Like, I could use this as a bronzer. Like, it looks so gorgeous, and it's super silky, super lightweight. As you can see, like, my swatch is a little funky, but it's just such a nice powder, and if you were able to not use it with your finger and use it with a brush, it's just so beautiful and diffused and soft. It's amazing. That's such a beautiful shade. So if you guys want to go out and buy something like this, or maybe you want to become a makeup artist and you need a deeper powder for your collection, you could also use this as a bronzer, because look how gorgeous that is. That would be perfect. And a lot of times with translucent powders, they're meant to be translucent or very lightly pigmented. So obviously this has some pigment. Obviously I've built it up with my hand, but it's very soft and diffused, and I think it's gorgeous. So you could use this. It's very inexpensive. I got it at Ulta. Love that one. Okay, next up is the BH Cosmetics Studio Pro Contour Palette. Now, this is something that I've used in my kit, but I do use it on myself from time to time. You know, I want to make sure that the products that I buy for my kit are also products that I stand behind and I would use myself. I love this. As a makeup artist, it's very different buying makeup for yourself versus buying makeup for your kit and your clients. You know, you have to think of skin types, skin tones, preferences, and you have to make sure that you get that on a wide scale. Now, you know, you don't want to carry 15 suitcases full of makeup around with you. So instead of having 6 bronzers rolling around in my kit, I can just have this one palette where I have everything. This is a gorgeous palette, and you also get, I would say, 4 kind of highlight shades, and then the rest are all bronzer, contour-y type shades. They call it a contour palette, but really only this color and this color are really like contour shades in my opinion. Everything else is kind of warm, and you can always use these to mix and match too, so if you needed to lighten something up, you could, but then you also have like the matte highlighting powders as well. These are buttery, silky smooth. They're pigmented without being too pigmented. They're just awesome, and I love this palette. I don't even know if they make it anymore, but if they do, I would pick one up. It's very, very affordable, and it's just great for my kit, you know, because I don't really need anything else. Like, I carry that Tom Ford bronzer, and I carry this, but really, you don't need anything else. You have everything you need right here. So I love this, and the formula is fantastic. I thought it was going to be powdery and cheap, and ugh. It's not. It's amazing. All right. The next thing that I want to talk about are the Fenty matchsticks. These are so bomb. I love these. Of course, the packaging is gorgeous, and who doesn't want to do this 15 times a day? And if it's Fenty, so of course they bring the shades, huge shade range, something for everyone. I have the shade Mocha and the shade Amber. I personally mix the two together when I need to contour, and when I want more of a neutral bronze, I'm going to use just Mocha by itself. I don't feel like I'm fair enough to use Amber. It always looks dirty and muddy on me when I use it by itself, but if you have extremely fair skin or you have a lot of cool undertones, this would be really nice for you. But these are so pretty, so I'm going to swatch Amber first and then Mocha. I love them. This one's Amber. Yeah, very cool. And this one's Mocha. A little bit more neutral, but I love these. And they are physically a cream product, but they have this beautiful matte dry down and texture that just makes them look like skin. It's wild. It's so crazy. And I don't feel like they're too dewy or oily or moisturizing to where they're going to move around. And if you have oily skin and you're like, oh, I have my reservations about using cream products, I would try these because, as you can see, they have that really beautiful matte dry down, but they are very easy to blend and use, and they just look so pretty on the skin. I love these so much. So good. The only reason that I put these lower down on the list is because I don't contour a ton. Sometimes I get in these moods where I want to like contour my nose and contour around my lips and do a little here, but really I'm more of a bronzer person. I'm not really a contoury all the time type of person. Sometimes I am, and these are good to throw in my kit too if I need to use them on a client, but really that's why they're down a peg, because I don't really use contour all the time. All right, so I know I just got done hating on contour, but I got another contour product for you. This is the Makeup Forever Artist Face Color. Now, these come in like pro refill pans, so I bought this little packaging for this color, and then I put the name on the back with a label maker, but you'll have to buy them separate, which might be annoying to you, maybe not, I don't know. I used to have this in with a highlighter and a blush. It was in like a little palette. You guys have maybe seen it on my channel. But then I got another blush from them and I put it in, so I had the highlighters with the blushes, and then I put this guy on its own. This is S112 Shadow. anytime you do Makeup Forever stuff, S, shadow, contour, sculpt type of thing, B for blush, and H for highlight. Pretty simple. I love this color though. Now, the reason why this one is ahead of the Fenty Matchsticks is because if you were to put a gun to my head and be like, choose cream or powder, I'm probably going to choose powder. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, cream is like nice to have, but I'm always going to want a powder instead. This is awesome. And again, with the Fenty Matchsticks, I kind of have to mix the two together to get a nice shade that I like, where this one I think is just a perfect shade for me. It is a little bit taupey, has a little tiny bit of that yellow undertone to it, so it actually doesn't make it as cool and as gray and as muddy. So it's a beautiful color. I absolutely love it, and I love these powders. They feel like cream. They are so amazing. I know that's like really light, but that's the shade right there. It's so pretty. Oh, it's so nice. And I love these. I feel like they're so underrated. I feel like people don't use them enough. They are so finely milled. They're so creamy. They're pigmented, but they're not overly pigmented. Because honestly, when it comes to powder, contouring, bronzing, complexion, cheek, blush, highlight, I like something that I can kind of build up to my taste. You know, I don't want to go in and have to blend down. Maybe you do. Maybe that's your thing, but it's not my thing. I absolutely adore the Makeup Forever Artist Face colors. But again, it's a contour, so it's a little further down because I do typically use bronzer pretty much all the time. Next up is a bronzer that you guys have been seeing me use a ton lately, and it is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. Now, I remember when Jaclyn Hill first started talking about this, and people went crazy for this bronzer. I mean, people still kind of do today. I mean, when I see videos of people who talk about their favorite drugstore products, when they come to bronzer, they're pretty much always mentioning this. I don't really see anybody mentioning anything else. I mean, maybe like that new L'Oreal one, maybe the other Physicians Formula creams, but really nobody's doing it like them. This is truly magical. So like the Fenty Matchsticks, I was saying how they're kind of like a cream, but they have this kind of matte, I don't want to say powdery, but a matte kind of dry down to them. This is kind of the opposite. It's a powder product physically, but it's so buttery and creamy. It feels like a cream. It applies like a cream. This has a gorgeous sheen to it. It looks so pretty on the skin. It is a little bit shimmery, but nothing crazy. It looks more like a sheen than anything. This is in the shade Bronzer. Doesn't that just, I love it, love it, love it. At first, I did not like this bronzer. At first, I was like, this is not for me. I don't like it. But again, that was because I was stuck on Hoola bronzer and I literally had blinders on and couldn't see anything else. But I use this all the time. It smells like a tropical paradise. Love that. You may not like scents, but I feel like it dissipates pretty quickly. And it has the most beautiful sheen. It just brings so much beautiful luminosity to the skin. And I'm so glad that they extended their shade range, because for the #1 bronzer at the drugstore, I think you need to have an extended shade range. I also feel like this bronzer was kind of yellowy on me at first when I first started using it. I don't know what changed. I don't know why all of a sudden I really love it now, but I do. The only thing is I hate this packaging. Now I get it. The drugstore, they're kind of marketing to a average consumer that may not have 10 million brushes like I do. So this does have like a little kind of like weird spongy applicator thing that goes in here that I lost, but I use a brush with mine. I love it. It's beautiful. This is so fab. It's great. Next up is actually the powder bronzer that I'm wearing today. I'm wearing it over a cream that I'm going to talk about in a minute, but I have the powder bronzer over top. You guys know my obsession with the Hourglass Ambient Edit Ghost palette. Now you know my obsession with the Hourglass complexion products. They kill it when it comes to complexion products. Absolutely kill it. I have one of their blushes on today. I use their finishing powder today, and I use the bronzer from this palette. I wish that they would come out with this in a big size, because they came out with Sublime Flush, which is my favorite blush of all time. They need to come out with Eternal Bronze Light. I love this. I love everything about this. I use this palette pretty much every single time I do my makeup. This bronzer is so gorgeous. It is neutral, but it has just a teensy weensy bit of warmth to it, and it has this beautiful pinky undertone. Of course, the Hourglass products are meant to be very soft focus, soft glam, luminous, angelic. That's their kind of vibe. And these don't disappoint. Oh my God, these are so beautiful. I am obsessed with this color. And like I said, it has this beautiful pinky undertone to it that just, I don't know. It's just so pretty. It's so beautiful. And as you can see, compared to the Physicians Formula one, which you guys saw was sheeny, not shimmery, but sheeny. This one is sheeny, but very, very subtly, much less sheeny than the Physicians Formula one. So if you think that this I can't speak today. If you think that the Physicians Formula one is too shimmery for you, but you also don't want to use something that's like a super powdery matte, I think this guy is bomb. The Hourglass ones are expensive, but you're getting 10 grams of product. That is a ton. I have seen people constantly talk about how they cannot get through a Hourglass product. So yes, you're gonna spend $52, but you're getting so much product in here compared to, compared to the Tom Ford one, that's $78. You're only getting 8.7 grams of product. Now, in this one, obviously, you're getting a little less product because it's kind of like this sample face palette. It's very small. But the large individual size ones, you're going to get 10 grams of product. 10 grams of product for what? Almost $20 less than this one? That's a big difference. And they're just so beautiful. So beautiful, effortless, and you know what? They're easy to use because you're not sitting there blending and blending and blending. They go on so soft and diffused. Like, look at my skin. Like, you don't know where the bronzer stops and starts. It is just, oh. Right, we're down to the last two. Now, this one is only number 2 because, again, it's a cream, and if you were to hold a gun to my head, I would pick a powder over a cream. However, thank God, there's not a gun to my head. Milk Makeup Matte Bronzer Stick. What else do I need to say about it? You guys know, if you watch my channel, I use this all the time. I used it today. It's fabulous. I'm obsessed with using creams now. And this was the first ever one that I bought. And I honestly feel spoiled because it kind of made me go, well, what else do I need, really? I mean, I kind of branched out and used the Fenty matchsticks, but I really don't care to go out and try any other cream bronzers because this one's so bomb. Now, this one is a bronzer. It is in no way, shape, or form a contour stick. So if you are looking for something to contour with, you're going to need to get the Fenty ones or something else that you like because this is warm. It's not meant for contouring the face. It's meant for bronzing and warmth. It only has 2 shades, so that's kind of a downer. If you're somewhere in a light to medium and you feel like you can't use this shade, you're kind of shit out of luck. And the same with the deeper shades. You only get 1 dark shade. So you really got to pick and choose what you're working with. But I happen to be able to use this shade and I am obsessed and I love it. And I'll just give you guys a little swatcheroo. It's kind of big, but it's so pretty and it just blends out like a dream. I remember, you guys, when I first got this, like, oh, look at that. It just looks like tan skin. My point exactly. When I first got this, I remember putting it on. I went out, I had lunch, I did a bunch of errands. I was at Target. I went in the Target bathroom. I looked at myself and I was like, that doesn't look like bronzer. That looks like my skin. It looks like it's a part of my skin. And you know what? If I didn't put it in the strategic, like, here places that you put your bronzer, you wouldn't even know. It looks like skin. And like the Fenty ones, it's physically a cream product, but has that matte dry down, that matte sort of texture to it. It's just gorgeous. This is my everything. If I lost this, if it was stolen, if I used it up, I would have to go out and buy another one. If I ever found out this was getting discontinued, which I don't know why they would, because I would literally go and burn down their headquarters if they did, I would go out and buy a case. I love this thing. It's in the shade Baked. I think the dark shades is Blazed. And you get a lot of product in here. The Fenty matchsticks, for about the same price, I think they're both around $24, $25. This one, you're getting 7.10 grams of product, which is 0.25 of an ounce. This one, you were getting a whole ounce. So 7 grams of product versus 28. That is a ton. This is a great value, a great product. It's so easy to use. Whether you want to take your fingers and do a little doot, or a brush or a sponge, it doesn't matter. This is always going to be there for you. It is, I can't. I'm ride or die for this product. And last but not least, boom, Hoola bronzer. I know. What can I say? It's my favorite bronzer. I just love the shade. The Milk Makeup Matte Bronzer Stick, it's really warm. Other stuff, kind of more cool. Other stuff, you know, everything has a little thing that I wish that it was different. This has nothing that I wish that it was different. I love the shade of this. I lied. The only thing I hate is this box packaging, and I'm pretty sure that's a universal hatred amongst everyone with this product and any other powder products from Benefit. I don't know why their cheap asses can't put that in some nice thin plastic compact, but I digress. I love this. It's such a beautiful color. It's such a beautiful bronzer. Even though it's matte, it is still creamy and has that very, very just little like sprinkle of a sheen to it. But again, it's still primarily matte, but it's not a dry, powdery, nasty matte. It's so pretty. Like even just swatching it in the pan right now, it's creamy. It feels super creamy. And the color is so pretty. It's a nice kind of neutral bronze that you can kind of contour with a little bit and kind of bronze a little bit. It's perfection. It's perfection. Now this one is the jumbo size. Look how big this is to my hand. It is huge. When I first got the mini one, which took me forever to get through, I was like, oh my God, I love this bronzer. It's the best. Hallelujah. I found the one. I'm going to get the normal size. The bigger one, I would say now it's like the middle size compared to this one. So like the bigger size of the mini, the normal size. I was like, I'm going to get that one. That's it. I'm done. When I use this one, I'm getting that one. However, Benefit tried to play me and they were like, boom, here's the jumbo. And I was like, oh my God, I need the jumbo. Like that's my life. Well, when I finally hit pan and I finally finished that bronzer, my collection had grown, as you can see. So it's kind of like, well, do I just get another mini? Because now I have so many other bronzers that I'm trying to throw into the mix. And I went back and forth for so long and I was like, you know, in my heart of hearts, I just feel like I need the jumbo one. That's just what I need in my life. So I got the jumbo one. I'm so happy I have it. It's so fabulous. It's my favorite bronzer of all time. I will never love another unless Hoola for some reason discontinues or they become, you know, $500 per bronzer. I will always love this bronzer. It will always be somewhere in my collection. And that's that, you guys. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, night, wherever you are. And please leave me some bronzers that you guys love down in the comments. I'm going to give you a whole description box full of goodies. I love you guys. I will see you in the next video. Bye.